Hello, all. Happy Thursday.
How are you doing?
I'm good. How are you?
Good. Congratulations.
Thank you. Thank you. Yeah, I'm getting on a plane in like 32 hours, I think.
Something to look forward to.
Oh, yeah. Yep. Still need to finish packing. So I'm just admitting people here. Okay. So to start with, does anybody have questions? Okay. So to be honest, I kind of wanted to start with kind of a conversation about where people are, what concepts they might want to see again, things that they may have questions on. I think all the names that are here now have been here before, but just to introduce myself, hi, I'm Kendra Rhodes. I do these trainings every Thursday. And really, I want to make them about you guys. So always feel free to ask questions, to interject if something doesn't make sense. And really, I want to be covering topics that are important to you. So for today, I really wanted to dig in and make it a conversation to see where everybody is at. Sorry, just admitting people real quick. Where everybody's at, what questions that they have, any concepts that I've covered recently that maybe people have more questions on that they'd like to dig in on, anything to do with the banking concepts, really anything before we get started. Otherwise, I'm going to launch into some retirement planning strategies and why we might use particular products for things. And just be mindful of your background noise, guys. Okay. No questions, comments, concerns?
Nope.
Okay, so either I really am that awesome or nobody's paying attention. So hopefully it's the first. So I am going to, let me just, it logged me out again. 1 second. Let me just log back in and then I will share my screen. Okay. And we are admitting people. Okay, so for anybody who just joined, if there is any concept that we have covered in the last few weeks that you'd like more clarification on, please feel free to, and as soon as I start saying something, more people join. Give me a second. Okay, so if anybody has any questions of anything that we've gone over in the last few weeks, please feel free to jump in. Now would be a great time to ask those. So I think what I had planned on going over today is not going to take that long. So if you want clarification, want to talk about something more, please feel free to let me know. And now would be a good time to jump in if that is the case. I'm just pulling this up really quickly. Okay, so let me share my screen. Share screen 3. Share. Okay, can everybody see our client page?
Yep.
Awesome. Okay. And we have people join.
Ooh.
Okay. Perfect. So other retirement strategies. So we've been going over the private banking concept, and something that a lot of you are probably encountering of late is that you're running into clients who have a lot of money already saved. I've seen clients anywhere from $100,000 to $1 million of late who are absolutely panicking because of what the market's doing. They're concerned about their 401k. They're concerned about their IRA. They're concerned about their Roth. They're concerned about their mutual funds. Any money that they have that is exposed to the market, people are going, oh my God, what's going to happen? So that is a great opportunity for what we do, guys. So we can offer guarantees. In my practice, in every single thing I do, I can offer guarantees. At the bare minimum, the guarantee is that you're never going to lose money. So this is the client that we were looking at last week and probably the few weeks before that as well. And they have a 401k. And it has about $300,000 in it. So for the sake of this, this illustration, we're going to pretend that that's an IRA, that they are no longer with that, that employer, and that that is a rollover IRA and they have access to that money. So how old did we say that Sam Spade was?
It's 50, 51.
74. So what's that? 84, 94, 04, 14, 48. Perfect. Perfect, perfect. So our client is 48 and they have $300,000 in a retirement account. Okay. So they're concerned about the market going down. So what are we going to do? Any suggestions? Big hint on the screen. I've already shared it.
Annuities.
Okay, annuities. Thank you. Thank you.
Yeah.
Because that is a great way to allow people to access the market without actually risking in the market. So we're going to look at, I personally really like this, this company, this annuity. I happen to own one. Way back in the day, I had a 401k when I still worked for corporate America, because that was the popular theory that that's what you're supposed to do when you're 25. So we're going to take a look at this and we are going to say, but also guys, these products are not available in all states. Oh, sorry, let me admit people. Multitasking. So these products are not available in all states. So if you see something today that is not available in your state and you're looking for something that is also a really good product, please feel free to let me know. I'm happy to assist people in finding things that will work best for their clients. So for this example, we're going to say that our client is in Connecticut because I happen to know that that state is very flexible. So we'll just say it's me. And it defaults to Massachusetts because that's where I am. But we're going to say that this person is in Connecticut. So we know that our client is 48. So we know that this person cannot touch that money at all for another 11 years. So that is when we're going to have a conversation with our client to find out when they were really looking to retire. When are they looking to access this money? So we have determined that they're actually looking at, like, what do we say, 66, 65? I don't even remember.
667.
Was it? Let's take a look at step 2. 65. Great. So we know that they have more than 14 years before they're actually looking to retire. So that being said, if we know that they are, and honestly, guys, like 45, 46, it's not even a question, because if it's qualified money, they can't touch it until they're 59 and a half anyway. Sorry, let me let people in real quick. Okay. So they cannot touch it until they're 59 and a half. So a 14-year product is actually going to be to their benefit because it will have the best potential for growth, because the participation rates, the caps, the spreads, et cetera, they're higher. So it their money grows faster is really the long story short. And if anybody has any questions about what anything I said means, let me know, because I do this all day, every day. So I assume that people know what I'm talking about. So we're going to look at a product called the Denali 14. So the Teton is a straight growth product. The Vega is a combination product. The Denali, in my opinion, has the greatest flexibility because it has a built-in guaranteed lifetime withdrawal benefit. It has a built-in wellness withdrawal benefit, and it has no fees on anything. None of the indices, the product itself, the riders do not have fees. And for anybody who is not as familiar with annuities and how they function, or even the market, a lot of clients do not realize how much they're paying in fees on an annual basis. Every market account they have has a built-in fee because the brokers have to make money. Therefore, if your growth is 3% and your fee is 1%, you're not doing too hot. So in a down year, in an annuity, your guarantee is 0%, right? So what does a fee mean in a guaranteed annuity? Does anybody know? Anybody? Okay, so what a fee really means is that if you have a 1% fee for the account, for the annuity or the rider or whatever it is, it's often a rider that has a fee. If you have $100,000 in that account in a down year, your guarantee is a floor of 0, which means that your account still has $100,000. But at the end of the year, that fee, that 1% fee, still needs to be paid. So in essence, your $100,000 account takes a $1,000 fee because that's 1%. So your account value is now $99,000. And that's where you're growing from in the next year. So if you have a couple of bad years, that can really hurt, especially once you've started taking income from this product. So an annuity that does not have fees is that much more powerful in building value, in building income. So we're going to see how that plays out. And also, if anybody's ever heard of step-ups, a lot of annuities advertise that they have the ability to have step-ups. And what a step-up is basically a raise over time in your income based on the account value. But in a product that has a fee built into it, whether it's on the product, the index, or the rider, those are eating away at your account value. Even in good years, they're still eating away at the account value. So once you start taking income, you're much less likely to get a step up in a product that has a fee than a product that doesn't. So we're going to see how that goes. So our client is Sam Spade, 48. And because this is qualified money, we cannot have a joint owner. So we're going to say that our account value is $298,000. And they're not going to put any additional premium in year 1. It is qualified. So for this particular product, if they wanted to put in additional premium, they can for the first 12 months. After that, they would need to start a new contract. But they can add additional premium. Sorry, one second. They can add additional premium for the first 12 months, which I actually have had clients do. Okay, so we will go over to next. And these are our indices, guys. So everybody's familiar with the S&P 500, yes?
Yes.
Okay. So a couple of indices that you guys may not be as familiar with is the Barclays Atlas 5 and the Credit Suisse Raven Pack. So these are incredibly powerful indices. Personally, I do a 50-50 split between the Barclays Atlas 5 with participation rate and the Credit Suisse Raven Pack with participation rate. The reason being is the way these indices function. So we're all familiar with the S&P 500, but the Credit Suisse Raven Pack is also based on the American market. So the American market is divided into 11 different segments. So just because one segment is doing really, really poorly doesn't mean the market as a whole is doing really, really poorly. The biggest issue with the S&P 500 is that anytime you're dealing with the American market, they can only rebalance quarterly. So it's very slow moving. It does have a lot of power to it, but it's very slow moving. So if something starts to go badly, they can't rebalance until the end of the quarter. So that drags down the S&P 500. The Credit Suisse Raven Pack, on the other hand, still has access to those 11 different segments, but is actually only utilizing the top third of the American market in any given quarter. So it does rebalance quarterly because those are the rules of the American market, but the Credit Suisse is only targeting the top 3 to 4 segments of the American market. And they have a very good system of figuring out how those work and which ones to pick and all of that. That's above me, but that is why the Credit Suisse does so much better than the S&P 500. So the Credit Suisse is great, but it's still accessing the American market, which, by the way, is the world's largest economy, but it's still only 24% of the global economy. The Barclays Atlas 5, on the other hand, accesses a lot of foreign and emerging markets. So all told, it's accessing about 94% of the global GDP. And it rebalances daily. So even through COVID, they could literally create a map of how the Atlas 5 was invested across the world as COVID came across the planet. So it does access both more speculative and more equity type stuff. But it does try to, and the reason it is the Atlas 5 is because it's following that efficient frontier, which is 5%. So they're trying to achieve a 5% growth without a 5% risk. If it goes above that, it gets purged. So the Barclays Atlas 5 is not based on anybody's gut instinct. It is based off of an algorithm, and computers can make decisions without emotion. If it doesn't meet the criteria, off it goes. Okay, so and the 50-50 split, the reason I do that is because these are the two most powerful crediting strategies. It's a lot of people just want to set it and forget it. You can update your allocation strategies every year on the anniversary, but a lot of people don't want to bother. They just want to set it and forget it. Which is why I do the 50-50 split, because even in a down year, by having the power of the American economy and the fleet nimbleness of the global economy, you have a much better chance of achieving a small return as opposed to no return. So that's why the 50-50 split. Is everybody still with me? Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Okay. So we will go to next. So let's say that this is not qualified money, and let's say this person is older and they may want to access money before the end of the contract, which is 14 years. There are 3 possibilities for a free withdrawal. A free withdrawal does not incur any surrender fees whatsoever. So in the case of this annuity, the free withdrawals are 5% of the account value in any given year, the lifetime withdrawal benefit, which we will talk about further in a minute, or the required minimum distribution. So if this person is over 72 and a half and they are required to take minimum distributions, they can do that without incurring surrender fees. If they are younger than that, then they would be able to access either the 5% of account value or their lifetime withdrawal benefit. So, but this person is 48. They are not looking to retire until they are 65, which is outside the surrender period, and they are going to be looking for income for the rest of their lives. So we're going to say that they are retiring at 65. So 10 years is 58, 59, 60. So what's that, 17 years? Sorry, my math is broken today. I need a calculator. Okay, so we're starting in year 17 because that is, I think, when they're 65, and ending in year 63. Basically, it illustrates out until they're 110, however many years that is. Oh, by the way, with their withdrawal benefit, they can turn it on and off at will. So if they decide, barring required minimum distributions, because that is a federal rule that has nothing to do with the annuity itself. So if it's not a required minimum distribution and they're just taking income, they don't have to take it. If they just decide, I don't need the income this year, I don't want to pay the taxes, I'm just not going to take it, I'm going to let it grow. They can do that, which is why it has a withdrawal end. You can turn it on and off and show how that works. So we're going to see how this plays out. We'll just let it think for a minute. Okay, so it shows us how we've allocated and what the caps and participation rates are. Oh, wow, it went up. I looked at this, I don't know, a week ago, and it was 140, I think it was. And now it's 170 participation rate. So let me explain what that means for anybody who doesn't know. A participation rate is the percentage that you are gaining in when everything comes down. So let's say the market goes up 10 points. So in the S&P 500, you're getting 4.5 points if the market goes up 10. In the Barclays Atlas 5, you're getting 17% if the market goes up 10. In the Credit Suisse Raven Pack, you're getting 18% if the market goes up 10. So the next question everybody always asks me is, how can they do that? How can they give better than 100%? It has to do with their purchasing strategies and how all of that works. But basically, they go to their investment group and say, okay, if we have this much money, what can we afford to give back as a participation rate? And they do some number crunching, and this is the number that they come back with. And it is based on market volatility. It can change from year to year. In my experience, it has been fairly stable, even in the ups and downs of the economy the last few years. You know, you look at it one day and it's skyrocketing, you look at the next day, it's crashed, you look at it the next day, it's up again. It keeps doing, it's on a roller coaster. But the credit adjustments for the Silex suite of products has remained fairly stable, which is one of the reasons that I like this product. So now we're going to see how this plays out. And it gives you lovely little charts and graphs so you can visually see. And for those of us who like spreadsheets and eye charts, it gives us that as well. And it shows how it performs in the most recent 10 years, the low 10 years, and the high 10 years. And it would change the numbers because again, these are projected values. And when going through with clients, you do have to say that it is a projected value based on historical values. So they are realistic numbers, they have happened, but you just be aware of that. And this is even a lovely visual example of which indices perform the best. And I like charts and graphs. So if we're looking down this graph, the CS Raven Pack and the Barclays Atlas 5 perform the best over time. So the spread for the CS Raven Pack performs slightly better than the Barclays Atlas 5 with participation rate. But to do this, doing a 50-50 split, both in the CS Raven Pack, you're still kind of putting all your eggs in one basket. And the participation rate performs better over time than the spread does. The spread helps in a bad year, but how do you predict that? We can't. So that's why I do the Barclays Atlas 5 and the CS Raven Pack participation rate, because they're great set it and forget it type of crediting strategies. So also, fun fact, the CS Raven pack was not available as a crediting strategy when the Denali first went live. So it is a newer addition to the product. And the next thing you're going to ask me is, why is that a good thing? The reason it's a good thing is because it is now the most powerful projected index in the pack. So what about the contracts that were started prior to the CS Raven pack being part of that? So that's what's great about this particular product, is that anything that gets added on later, any of the new indices, are also available to the previous owners at their next anniversary. So the next time they have the ability to rebalance how they're crediting, they have access to those new crediting strategies. So you never have to be concerned that something newer, better, faster is going to come out and your existing clients are not going to be able to participate in it. They can. They just have to wait to their next anniversary, which for every client is when they can reevaluate, and you can sit down with people and say, hey, so this new thing happened and it's good news and you can participate if you would like, and it doesn't cost you anything. So fun fact. So moving along to, and the non-guaranteed policy values are always included in illustrations, but to be quite honest with you guys, this is how the annuity performs in the case that the market does nothing for the lifetime of the account. This has never happened, and honestly, if it did happen, we have bigger problems. So, and that's literally how I have presented it to clients. Okay, so this is, sorry, our guaranteed values are included in the illustration. The guaranteed value is 0, and this is the one where if it does nothing forever. Okay, so our non-guaranteed policy values. So we're putting in $298,000, right?
Right?
Is everybody still with me? Okay, good. I just feel like I've been talking for a while and nobody else has participated. I like to make sure that people aren't sleeping. Okay, so oh good, I did my math right. So at 65, if this continues to grow at the projected values that we have here, they will retire at age 65. And in the account at that time, they have $1.7 million. And their lifetime withdrawal benefit starts at $79,000. So does anybody remember what we were targeting for monthly income?
Oh, I forgot.
Okay, me too. So we're gonna look that up real quick. So we're gonna go to spending for Sam Spade. And I think our target was $120,000 a year. So we're gonna go back to SILAC. And we've got almost 2/3 of it right here. So at 67, they're going to turn on Social Security. And they've also got, I think they had, did they have like retirement? What did they have? Yeah, I think there was a potential pension that we may have had for somebody. They have their life plan. You know, they have other assets going on. And are you seeing my train of thought here, why this is such a powerful product? Because right now they've got almost $300,000, and in 15 years, that's potentially $1.7 million. And they haven't even touched their life plan, which we've built for them. They haven't been putting anything else into a 401k, and they still have Social Security coming. So if they need a little extra income for a couple of years until Social Security kicks in, that's fine. It's not going to hurt their life plan any. But this is also just his stuff. We haven't even included her income, because she also had a 401k and an IRA that could be rolled over. So, and $300,000 for a lot of the clients that we're talking about for retirement accounts isn't that much money. But people think that, people think it's nothing, but it could be. Does anybody have any questions right now?
Good.
You're good?
Yeah.
Okay. So right now we're going to talk about the step ups for a quick second. So, and this is actually, it worked out perfect because age 65 is projected to be a 0 year. So we're going to talk about that one for a second. So in a 0 year, we've got another 0 year up here. So, and this, I just want to show it because this is before we're taking income. So we've got $1.376 million in the account in a 0 year. So the following year is a 0 year. We still have $1.36 million in the account. The worst that can possibly happen to a client is they look at their statement and go, I have exactly the same amount of money as I had last year. And then their money starts growing again. So think about that. What do clients always say about their investment accounts? Anybody?
Don't want to run out of money.
That's one thing that they say. But people who really like their investment accounts, what do they say about the market?
I think it's losing. Yeah.
But people who really like their investment accounts will always say, yeah, but it comes back. The market always comes back. Okay. How long did it take to come back? Taking a look at the period from 2001 to 2011, it's known as the lost decade. Sorry, we've got something in the chat. Yeah, so it's known as the lost decade, which really means that anybody who had money invested in 2001 had exactly the same amount of money in 2011, which is a very poor place to be because now they're 10 years older and they're no richer. So if in a down year, nothing happened to them, does it have to come back? It doesn't, right? Because they didn't lose anything. It just keeps growing from where it was. So that is a very, very powerful piece, especially when you're getting 180% participation rate. So it grows very quickly because in 17 years, we've grown from $300,000 to $1.7 million. So back to the step ups. So yeah, year 17 is a 0 year, but that is where we start taking income. So we're down to $1.628 million, okay? Because we're taking income, but the account continues to grow. And the following year happens to be a really good year. So we're still taking $79,000 out of the account, but the account has grown to $1.867 million, which is larger than 1.707. So the following year, we get a step up. So we start making more money. And the following year, it grows again. So we start making more money, et cetera, until we get down to, we have a couple of not so great years over here. So we have a 0 year, then we have a 4.7 year. So we're looking at, the account is not growing as quickly. So because we're taking income, our income is flat for a couple of years. But notice it's flat at the last point that it was high. So we're not going backwards. Our income is not decreasing. Once we are at that, we are at that indefinitely. So for the lifetime of the account. Also, once they have hit that 14-year mark, which is right here, they can actually, if they wanted to, they could liquidate the account without having penalties. I wouldn't highly recommend it because this is qualified money and they're going to get hit with a ridiculous amount of taxes. $1.4 million of income in 1 year is a lot to pay tax on, but they could. Or let's say they decide to retire at age 62 and they want to start taking income. They can do that. Let's say they retire at age 62 and they want to take a world cruise. They can do that. Let's say for their 70th birthday, they're turning 70. They want to take a world cruise and it's going to cost them $150,000. Okay. So their annual income is $103,000. So that's a little bit short of the 150 that they need for this cruise, right? Can they do it?
Yeah, they could
What's that going to do to their income in future years?
shrink it.
But it still exists.
Yeah.
In some annuities, you have to choose between income and access. So they take out $150,000 and they go on their world cruise, and the following year, their lifetime withdrawal benefit is recalculated at the same percentage that it was calculated at 65, which I want to say is like 5-ish%, might be a little bit higher than that, of the account value times the new account value. And that will be their new lifetime withdrawal benefit payment going forward. So they can never lose their lifetime withdrawal benefit short of liquidating the entire account. So they still have that added benefit. Also, there is what's called the wellness withdrawal benefit. So in any given year, if the annuitant is unable to perform 2 out of 6 of the activities of daily living, for those of us who are unfamiliar with those, that is eating, dressing, bathing, walking, transferring, and using the bathroom. Those types of activities. If they're unable to perform 2 out of 6 of those by themselves, they qualify for the wellness withdrawal benefit, which doubles the lifetime withdrawal benefit for a period of 5 years to assist with the added cost of home health care. So if this were a joint annuity, meaning it's not qualified money, it would cover either party, but the increased benefit for the wellness withdrawal would only be 1.5 times, not double. So, but it is available. That being said, that is available. And let's say that this client lives to be 104 because it's the last number on my screen right now. Their account value at that point is $17 million.
Mhm.
And that would be left to whatever beneficiaries they list.
Not a bad deal.
And they only put $300,000 into this account.
Wow.
So yeah, this is the Rolls Royce of annuities, in my opinion. It just has so many flexible options, such fluidity, so many different things that you can do with it. And granted, this is a 14-year annuity. So for a client who is in their mid 50s and they're looking for it for retirement, we're going to have a conversation about liquidity, because they do have limited liquidity for the first 14 years. This product does have 2 little sisters. One is a 10-year and one is a 7-year. The reason I jumped straight into the 14-year for this product is because of their age, their retirement goals, and because it grows the fastest.
Mhm.
So for those of us who live in states that say that we cannot sell a 14-year product, i.e. Massachusetts, the 10-year product is also a great option. It just doesn't have quite the same level of participation rate. It's still a really good participation rate. It's better than 100%, which is fabulous.
Mhm.
And you still have that downside protection. So does anybody have any questions?
No, that was good.
Okay. So yes, that is how I would start with with any rollover accounts they have. Take a look at what they're attempting to do. Take a look at their goals, how many years they have left to retirement. But I mean, for Life Plan 360, our average client is still in their 40s. You know, anywhere from their late 30s to their mid 50s, and you know, in their mid 40s is a no-brainer if you have a state that they can utilize the 14-year product because of the rules around qualified money. So if it's just a straight rollover, great. Yeah, so for states that do not have the Denali, the Teton is still a great product. It does have, I believe, 7, 10, and 14-year products, depending on what state you're in. The difference is that the Teton does not have the guaranteed lifetime withdrawal benefit built in. That is, they would just have to take periodic withdrawals for that. But yes, so we've talked about a lot of different concepts the last few weeks. Does anybody have any questions?
Mm-mm.
Okay, so now that we have gone through how to do an illustration utilizing a retirement account, does it make sense to people how we would use that within the software to show someone what we're doing with spending?
Mhm.
Okay. Because as I think we had gone through with custom last week,
Mm.
that yeah, we put in the balance and the annual income and the growth rate and all that, and it showed how that changes. So putting in something like that into their spending really changes the picture for them.
Mm.
So does anybody have any clients that they're working with currently that they had questions, comments, concerns? I knew this week was probably going to be a short topic because the last couple of weeks we've gone very over, so I wanted to be very mindful of people's time. Anybody have anything that they want to discuss? Because I'm here if anybody needs anything, or we can adjourn a little bit early today. It's really up to you guys. Where's my chat? Where's my chat? I cannot seem to find my chat box. Okay. Oh, chat. There it is. Okay, so if nobody has any questions, and I'm just going to stop sharing, in which case it's been great. I think we will probably adjourn a few minutes early today if nobody has anything that they need to see or ask about. So the trainings, thanks, Andrew. Yeah, so the trainings will continue while I'm away. I think Ray might be filling in for the next couple of weeks. I will be back the first week of August, which is August 4th. So guys, please feel free to email me if there is a topic that you'd like to see. Again, I try to customize these. Can you see? Can I what the age for RMD?
I'm sorry. Spelling is okay. RMD time limit, like you told me 70 and a half or 72 and a half. What is the late, how long?
It's 72 and a half. At 72 and a half, they have to take required minimum distributions. And
how long ago this number came? Because my understanding was it was like a 70 and a half earlier, then it just comes 71, and right now it is 72 and a half.
Yep.
Okay.
Yeah,
know.
they change the regulations periodically. The most recent one that I'm aware of is 72 and a half.
Okay, I didn't know that. Okay, thank you.
Yep. So there is a chart if you go to the is it the Social
Google?
Security? I think it's the Social Security website that has it. You know what? I
Okay.
might
Yeah, okay.
have it bookmarked. I will just share it if I can find it really quickly. Bookmarks.
Okay.
It is the IRA. Oh, it's the IRS website. What am I talking about? Social Security. Okay, so I'm going to share the link to the IRS worksheet for the required minimum distributions.
Mhm,
So I
okay.
just put it in the chat for anybody who needs it. And they haven't updated their form, but it does start at 72 and a half that they have to start taking minimum distributions. But it gives you the distribution period and all of that. And of course they have to make it complicated. They can't just say, oh, it's this percentage at age 72 and a half. It's this percentage at age 74, whatever. They give you the distribution period. So you have to divide 100 by the distribution period. And that's your annual percentage, which you then need to multiply times the account value.
Oh, okay.
They make it very complicated.
Okay.
But it's the IRS. That's what they do.
In the stylus product, can we put a non-qualified money also there?
Yep.
Okay.
Yep. You can put, you can use a Roth, you can put straight cash. That is perfectly fine.
Okay. When we take in, then we have to pay that, what is called tax for only for the growth.
So if it's a straight cash annuity, it's last in, first out. So
Okay.
basically what that means is that the growth is the last in. So you're almost always taking the growth.
Okay.
Because, you know, if it sits for 17 years, you're probably going to have more growth than you have principal. So it will always be taxable.
Okay.
In theory, it'll always be taxable. But that's the great thing about people who have Roth accounts that they're rolling over.
Yeah.
Because the growth will never be taxable either.
But we have to keep like 5 years.
Most of our Life Plan 360 clients will have already had that account for 5 years.
Okay.
So, but I mean, also if they're in their 40s, yeah, they're not planning on touching it until they're over 59 and a half anyway. And where it is a Roth, it's never subject to required minimum distributions, but it is subject to penalties if you access it before 59 and a half.
Okay. I got it.
So does that make sense?
Thank you, Kanta.
Okay. Perfect. Any other questions?
Oh, so we're going to close today, right?
I'm sorry?
We're going to close today, right?
Yeah, today is I will be leaving on vacation tomorrow. So yes, I'm getting married next week. So I'm leaving tomorrow, but I will be back in August. Nobody panic.
You're going to marry next week?
Yeah, I'm getting married next week.
I thought you did it already.
No. It's just been a long time coming. Yes, so I will be back. Nobody panic. The trainings will continue without me. So please feel free to tune in on Thursdays. And yes, we'll be, so Ray will be taking over for the next 3 weeks every Thursday, and I will be back August 4th. That will be the first Thursday that I will be back for trainings, but I am coming back, I promise.
Okay, good. Okay.
All right. Anything else before we adjourn for the day? Okay. Well, I hope everybody had a great long weekend. I hope you have a great weekend coming up and really a great rest of the month. And I will see you in a few weeks. And please feel free to email me if you have questions. I'll still be checking emails for the rest of today and for most of tomorrow. So, all right.
Thank you, Kanta. Thank you.
Have a great day, guys.
Thank you.
Bye.